show, and at the end of the show, as I've mentioned before, we go out and we talk to folks and, sign an occasional autograph and shake hands and so on. And there was one guy waiting over to the side in the what I call the hover position after I was all done. Big guy, probably about my age. Big guy. And he had been the guy who picks the joke during our psychic comedian section of the show. So he had the props from that in his hand because we'd give those away. He had the joke book and the envelope and the paper and stuff. If you haven't seen the live show, it's not worth explaining. But he had props from the show that we'd given him from the night before. He wasn't the guy that night. And he walked over to me and he said, I was here last night at the show, and I saw the show and I liked it. He was very complimentary about my use of language and complimentary about, honesty and stuff. He said nice stuff, no reason to go into it. He said nice stuff. And then he said, I brought this for you. And he handed me a Gideon Pocket Edition. I thought it said from the New Testament, but I also thought it was Psalms from the New Testament, right? Or, Psalms from the New, which is part of the New Testament. A little book about this big, this thick, He said, I wrote in the front of it, and I wanted you to have this. I'm kind of proselytizing. And then he said, I'm a businessman. I'm sane, I'm not crazy. And he looked me right in the eye and did all of this. And it was really wonderful. I believe he knew that I was an atheist. But he was not defensive, and he looked me right in the eyes. And he was truly complimentary. It wasn't in any way, it didn't seem like empty flattery. He was really kind and nice and sane and looked me in the eyes and talked to me and then gave me this Bible. And I've always said, that I don't respect people who don't proselytize. I don't respect that at all. If you believe that there's a heaven and hell and people could be going to hell or not getting eternal life or whatever, and you think that, it's not really worth telling them this because it would make it socially awkward. And atheists who think that people shouldn't proselytize, just leave me alone, keep your religion to yourself. How much do you have to hate somebody to not proselytize? How much do you have to hate somebody to believe that everlasting life is possible and not tell them that? I mean, if I believed, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that a truck was coming at you and you didn't believe it, if that truck was bearing down on you, there's a certain point where I tackle you. And this is more important than that. And I've always thought that, and I've written about that, and I've thought of it.
So, that's an atheist called Penn, Jillette, and it's talking about, if you believe in hell, why don't you tell people? You should do. And apparently there's quite a lot of people actually playing this atheist videos in churches. But there's a kind of double psychology there. What he's doing is he's trying to get a foot in the door in the church. So Christians will listen to this and think, oh great, an atheist saying it's good to evangelize. So they play the video. Next thing you know, Mr. Jillette is in the churches and he's got an opportunity for a voice, and just he's trying to make it out that he's kind of open-minded, kind of atheist. But let's not forget, he's part of the movement of Dawkins that calls Christians who teach creation, six-day creation, that they're abusing their children or child abusers. Sam Harris, an atheist who thinks Christians are very dangerous because they are irrational and could blow people up like the Muslim extremists of 9/11. That religion poisons everything, which comes from Christopher Hitchens. And there is a bombardment of atheist attack on Christianity on YouTube week in, week out, and it's quite nasty and brutal. And so you have some atheists like Mr. Jillette trying to come across as nicey to win an audience for his atheism. So be careful when you listen to these atheists, because they are crafty, and what you see is not what you get, generally speaking. Okay, thank you for listening, and take care.